Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. It's been a fantastic day so far. So you remember when Kamala Harris made that promise that she was going to give only $750 to hurricane victims after her and the rest of her staff were trying to avoid it as much as possible? They had to do something. They had to come forward with some sort of measure. And here's what she said to the people that suffered and lost everything.
The president and I have been paying close attention from the beginning to what we need to do to make sure the federal resources hit the ground as quickly as possible. And that includes what was necessary to make sure that we provided direct federal assistance. And that work has been happening. The president and I have been paying close attention from the beginning.
By the way, something about her tone of voice when she says she's been paying attention, it sounds like that babysitter that just woke up from being drunk. Like, yeah, I was watching your kids. I was watching little Jeffrey. Oh, wait, isn't his name like Zane or something? They're around somewhere. So, once again, your federal government shows its true colors on the lack of compassion, or really no compassion whatsoever, when it comes to people in dire need. They rather send that money off to Ukraine to kill more people. They rather go send that off to Israel to commit more of a genocide. They want to kill more people than they want to save. Go figure. And these are the people that are caring for you, care about your children, care about, your rights and abilities. And here they are giving a vaguely empty gesture of $750 for everything that you've lost. You should go ask the people of Hawaii how they dealt with their $750. Oh, wait, none of them really got it. And sadly, and this gives me no joy, but sadly, I was kind of right about this when I said that $750 may not actually go to people. And I didn't know that this was going to happen, but I figured there was going to be some sort of catch. So the AP reports Mayorkas, that's the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, warns that FEMA does not have enough funding to last through the hurricane season. They're out of money, folks. Oh my God. Quickly, we got to start a telethon. We got to start a telethon to get the federal assistance that your tax dollars are supposed to go towards and gain that back. Holy crap. It's amazing. If the IRS caught a regular citizen's tax return and they're off by like a penny, they get penalized, they may get a jail sentence, they get audited. They're telling you that they've lost millions and millions of dollars of your money, taxpayer money that's supposed to go towards a rainy day situation like this, and they're telling you it's all gone. Wow. So this goes on to say the Federal Emergency Management Agency can meet immediately needs but not have enough funding to make it through the hurricane season. Homeland Security Secretary Alexandro Mayorkas told reporters Wednesday. That's a fascinating name. The agency is being stretched as it works with states to assess the damages from Hurricane Helene and deliver meals, water, generators, and other critical supplies. The storm struck Florida last week, then plowed through several states in the southeast, flooding towns and killing more than 160 people. I think that's up to 180 now. I may be wrong. Someone check the data on that. Mayorkas. Sounds like a Greek island. Mayorkas was not specific on how much additional money the agency may need, but his remarks on Air Force One underscore concerns voiced by President Joe Biden and some lawmakers earlier this week that Congress may need to pass a supplemental spending bill this fall to help states with recovery efforts. We are meeting with the immediate needs of the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting, Mayorkas said. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season. The hurricane season runs June 1st to November 30th, but most hurricanes occur in September and October. Congress recently replenished a key source of FEMA's response efforts, providing $20 billion for the agency's disaster relief fund as part of a short-term government spending bill to fund the government through December 20th. The bill also gave FEMA flexibility to draw on the money more quickly as needed. Both chambers of Congress are scheduled, however, it would need to be in their home states and districts until after the election, as lawmakers focus on campaigning. Wow. Good timing of all this. Hey, we can't actually respond to a hurricane. We can't respond to the victims and show our opportunity until we continue to reign power. What a sick, twisted, diabolical ploy that is. We're not going to give you the money until you are certain that we continue to reign power. The same people that didn't do jack squat for the victims in Maui, for the victims in East Palestine, Ohio, for the victims of Hurricane Katrina, for the victims of every single disaster. And we'll show you later on in another video here of how people that are supplying all the community efforts that are supplying the needs of the victims are being thrust down by the government. They're not allowing people, community members, to outreach to these victims and give them the supplies they need because it doesn't fit well to their agenda. Because there may be a business opportunity to this. Take around for that. Both chambers of Congress are scheduled. However, it would need to be... Okay, so we already read that. House Speaker Mike Johnson gave no hint he was considering changing that schedule during a speech on Tuesday. He said that Congress just provided FEMA with the funds it need to respond and that lawmakers would make those resources and are appropriately allocated. A bipartisan group of senators from affected states wrote to their leadership this week saying it is clear Congress must act to meet constituent needs. They may need to even require Congress to come back in October ahead of the election. Mayorkas made his comments as Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris fanned across the Southeast to witness the damage from hurricane and assist to demonstrate commitment and competence in helping devastate communities. Yeah, until the camera shut off. Now Kamala Harris is doing podcasts while people are still scrounging what they have left after this hurricane. Biden is heading to North and South Carolina while Harris is going to Georgia. More than 150,000 households have been registered to assistance with FEMA, and that number is expected to rise rapidly in the coming days, said Frank Majera, an agency representative. The devastation was especially severe in the Blue Ridge Mountains, where at least 57 people died in and around Asheville, North Carolina, a tourist haven known for its art galleries, breweries, and outdoor activities. Our communities are wiped off the map, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper said at a news conference Tuesday. It's just absolutely horrific, and it makes my blood boil that not only just the lack of response, the lack of an initiative, but almost like the purposeful turning away. Like, as if there's something more to this devastation. As if there's almost a reason behind this hurricane came at this time, right before an election, and the government, the federal response, is deliberately destroying any opportunity to help rescue these people. And even all their promises of, well, FEMA can reach out to these people. We'll give FEMA checks. We'll give people the $750. You realize these people have lost everything. How are they gonna mail these checks out? Are they gonna do a direct deposit? They don't have electricity. They don't have communications. They lost everything. And even these people do get FEMA, it's not enough to cover anything. It's not enough to cover anything. And the people that did escape from these, storms and got inland to a hotel, or they're just going to say, go to your insurance company. Go to your house insurance. They'll take care of you. They won't, but they'll say they'll take care of you. It's absolutely sickening. Absolutely sickening. So, why exactly do we not have the money put aside for a situation like this? Well, here's an interesting take. Someone put this together. There's Mayorkas himself doing a press briefing here. And listen to what he said just a few months prior of where exactly this money, this emergency response funding, is going towards. Listen to this.
FEMA is going to be playing a pivotal role in our shelter and services program that is poised to distribute $363 million to cities and communities in need of funding. We do not have the funds, FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
So you just heard there that the funding, you can see at the bottom here, I'll even show you, there's a graphic to this too to make it more aware to people. So look at this. FEMA spending on migrant shelters and services. So in fiscal year 2023, they have spent $363 million in shelter and services for migrants, for illegal immigrants coming into the country. That number, that was 2023. That number this year, fiscal year 2024, is $650 million. $650 million to bring in illegal immigrants into the country for shelter and services done by FEMA. And you notice how it's not shelter and services for the already dense homeless population that's across America. They don't consider that an act of an emergency. They have 10 cities across every single county, every single city across America. But no, let's flourish more people illegally into the country without documentation, and we'll house them for cheap labor. That's where all the money has gone to. All the money that's supposed to be set aside for a disaster relief, like Hurricane Helene, which was worse than Hurricane Katrina. And this is the response they give because they already spent your money. They already took advantage of you and exploited it to someone else. Here's also what this lady says. This is from the Investigative Examiners. They said, press release from August 23rd, 2024, $2 billion for FEMA emergencies approved for 2024. $319 million for resources required for FEMA national preparedness goals. Mayorkas says we are running out of money. What the F? Where the hell is all of our money? And there it is right there. She links to the actual documentation that says right here, Emergency Management Performance Grant approves $319.55 million to assist states, local, tribunal, and territorial emergency management agencies in obtaining the resources required to support the national preparedness goals, associated missions, and core capabilities to build a culture of preparedness. That has now been drained out. That has now been drained out. Because they are using that money, they're abusing you, stealing that money, your taxpaying dollars. They're taking that money and using it to oppress humanity. Because if it's not sheltering migrants illegally coming into the country with no documentation, then they're sending it off to Ukraine for more bloodshed, for more killing. They're sending it off to Israel to blow the heads off of young children and mothers in Palestine and Lebanon. Or they're sending more money to get more cops on the streets to crack the heads of American civilians. They're using every single one of your tax dollars to abuse you. It's absolutely sickening. It's absolutely disgusting. And I made the point that after witnessing all this, and you'll see further on just how devious and disgusting this is, you got to come to a point where you realize, what exactly are we doing? What exactly are we paying our taxes for? Because if you look around, look at the horrible infrastructure. Look at how every city is crumbling from lack of infrastructure, how water is being contaminated, how playground equipment is barely holding up, how schools are failing our kids, how healthcare is deteriorating. You don't really even have healthcare in America. They tell you, oh, just get a private insurance card. Just go to some private agency. They'll help you out. Yeah, they'll help you out by going to tell you go pound sand when you're in dire need. So, again, I have to reiterate this. At what point do we start looking at this and going, why the hell do we pay taxes? So that corrupt career criminals can make a quick buck off of overseas wars? So we can go and slaughter more people and then leave you hung to dry? Is that the benefit of paying taxes? Is that the benefit of paying your dues to society? That's the thank you and response you give for living in America? Because if this is what they're doing after a hurricane, one of the most horrific hurricanes since Hurricane Katrina, and we know the same response that Hurricane Katrina got, and they left New Orleans completely devastated. Now they're doing this to 6 different states. 6 different states. I am just in shock. And like I said, this makes my blood boil. This makes me angered as a Canadian. As a Canadian witnessing all this, witnessing the devastation. And again, as to show you on, they're blocking efforts for members of their own community to help people. They want these people suffering. They want more suffering, and then they're going to dangle a carrot in front of your nose, $750, but only if you consider keeping them in power. This is beyond insane. This is beyond insidious. This is shit you had heard about in medieval times with kings and queens. Hey, we'll give you some relief to the peasantry, but you got to promise that you keep us in power and overrule you. You have to give up more of your resources, more of your rights, more of your liberties to this unchecked oligarch that doesn't give a shit about you in the first place. Honestly, just absolutely disgusting how they're responding to this. And let me replay this video.
FEMA is going to be playing a pivotal role in our shelter and services program that is poised to distribute $363 million to cities and communities in need of funding. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season. FEMA is going to be playing.
And you know what the funniest part about all this is? That it's actually cost saving to have peace negotiations with other countries, reduce our military spending, reduce the amount of spending that we are killing ourselves with, and actually invest into our communities. It's more cost effective. That's because it's an investment into your country. When I say about, putting money into healthcare, putting money into education, people say, oh, it's that socialism. That's crazy. You want the government. No, I want the government to take my tax dollars that they stole from people and invest that back into the community. Because what they're doing now is stealing. It's theft. They're not putting that money to good use. They're not putting that money towards the people that need it. They're using it for their own sickening advantage. It's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. $650 million in fiscal year 2024 to shelter migrants. The people that exploited overseas, killed off their territory, and then dragged their bodies over to here and promised them, hey, you can get a job, you can get a house, you can get all of this. You just got to work cheap. While we undermine our own people. These are sick, twisted individuals, folks. Sick, twisted, bloodthirsty monsters. And I just cannot bear. I just cannot bear to even begin to comprehend why they would be so heinous. Why they would do. I know why, but it's just absolutely disgusting. It's disheartening. And the fact that people are still trying to make salvage of what little they have left after this hurricane. My thoughts and prayers are with you guys. And to them, to all of the federal response, literally, go blank yourself. That's what I say.